Peace, peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Now is the only thing that exists. And now it's like that neutral zone, like that middle ground, like that balance. And that's what this video is going to be about. The balance. Because right now we're moving into that Libra energy coming out of Virgo. Virgo had us detail oriented, getting things together, being analytical, being more grounded, and got this balance. And this is the Hebrew letter associated with Libra, the Libra energy. That's the one associated with the Aries energy, and it's talking about balance. And also, the Star of David, connecting to balancing the masculine upper triangle with the feminine lower triangle. This lower triangle is kind of shaped like the area, where the yoni at on the female, the queen's body. And remember, the female and male bodies, yeah, we have these bodies, but in essence, we are androgynous in nature, you know what I'm saying? And this doesn't mean, again, like they push this agenda with the LGBT thing, and to each his own. That's another thing what we're getting into, that right now is the vibrate to know that it's not about judgment, because first judgment starts within. It's like, oh, if I was that person, I would judge myself. So you judge a person who might be houseless, because if you was houseless, you would judge yourself for something going wrong in your realm, or judging yourself for being hard on yourself. Or if I was LGBT or whatever, I would judge myself. Or if I was a racist person, I would judge myself. Or if all judgment starts within you first and foremost. And again, because you may not be well studied in these areas, you might feel like, oh, that don't make no sense that I judge myself before I judge others. But as you start to go down the line, you'll realize that that's where that comes from. Now, this may be a two-part video, because this is, going to be long. And again, about the balance, and you see why the importance on the Star of David, the Star of David, quote unquote, that's what they call it in religion, you know what I'm saying? And they take that and turn it into a religious thing. But again, the symbol stands for more than that, and that's also the symbol for the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is in between, you got the lower three chakras, and then you got the higher three chakras, and then you got the heart chakra in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Providing that balance, and why everything goes back to unconditional love and the Christ consciousness and no judgment. You know what I'm saying? And in essence, that's like the chariot. The Merkaba is like the chariot for your soul, in order for you to move around, and especially to ascend out of this realm, out of the portal. You gotta be in that balanced chariot. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be balanced within your being. So we're gonna get into a lot of other aspects, and this the card for the Libra, representing that. The justice within, because again, I always bring up like the as above, so below, as within, so without, and look at your inner realm. For those of y'all who are unfamiliar with the movie Osmosis Jones, but still just look at your inner realm like it's a universe or a city, you know what I'm saying, or this big world in essence. This big world has different little areas with different beings that have different tasks, and it's not for these different energies, to beef out against each other. Let me get into my notes about this so I don't be too far everywhere. I'm gonna line this up. But for one, just getting to the place of realizing that it's no judgment, and that's what something in this realm, like the parasitic energies, is trying to cause a separation through judgment. Because again, yes, we do have a healthy aspect of our ego to allow for us to have a unique individual experience, or unique individual learning experience, so you have separation just enough to, again, allow for us to have that uniqueness within this realm. And at the same time, everything is interconnected, and it's about making the being balanced, harmonized, and whole again. Hence why we balance our chakras and harmonize our chakras. So one chakra, like where you notice where things be in disarray, if your crown is more spinning than your root chakra, and your root chakra is underspinning, or if your root chakra overspinning and your crown chakra is not spinning as much, or all these different things go into it. And again, your chakras are different worlds. Because you think about a Taurus field, A torus field is like having a tornado at the top and the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Let's see if I have a picture of that. That's the reason why I got my tablet. Yeah. It's somewhat a picture of it. You know, like a torus field. And then, it has like a tornado on top, and you had a middle point, which is the 0 point of the void. And that's where, again, like, because we have our big torus field around our body, you know what I'm saying? And then we have a torus field around our heart as well, you know what I'm saying? So again, in those tornadoes, spinning, or that whirl, hence why they call it a whirlpool, man. Get caught in a whirl. And another thing too, like not being caught in somebody else's whirlpool, our world, so to speak. You gotta live out your within your own world, or you'll get lost in somebody else's world or somebody else's current. The whirlpool, it's like a current. And matter of fact, for those of y'all, like, I think about the Mississippi River in Louisiana, and how they have little whirlpools and little currents, and they warn you about, like, trying to swim across the Mississippi, especially in Louisiana. I don't know about other places, but Louisiana is where the Mississippi is at its widest, and they got all these different little whirlpools and currents that could pull you under, you know what I'm saying? But again, that has to deal with the different, chakras, different worlds. But again, back to the balance aspect. It's all about harmonizing and balance the whole being, because I can't step to the next level if I'm still, like, if you would judge, I always would use like the Star Wars analogy. Like, if you can't be around beings, one being all slimy, the other being is made out of grass, another being is like Guardians of the Galaxy. One is a raccoon, one is a blue person, one is a green person, another person look like a worm, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't release judgment, how are you gonna be a whole being, and step into these high realms and dealing with, when I say high realms, again, just moving from out of this earthly plane, this school, you know what I'm saying, leaving mama's house, you know what I'm saying, because again, it's like being on and in mama, but we didn't birth out, you know what I'm saying, but again, you gotta leave a house, and in order to leave a house and leave mama, and leave home instead of staying at your mama's house, you gotta release judgment, and that's why everything again goes back to, the Christ consciousness, a healthy heart chakra, and unconditional love, that whole aspect. Because another thing too, what keeps us tied in this realm, a part of, dealing with judgment, and also again a certain level of attachment to this realm, because if you attach to so many things, you're trying to hold on to this and hold on to that, hold on to this. When it's time to go through the portal, you too big to fit through the hole, you know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, shout out to Seven Bomar for reawakening a lot of this information within me, which again, I'm speaking from a perspective that I caught downloads on, and seeing how important it is to, like, well, you can read books and things of this nature, but that inner gnosis is like, like, it's the inner gnosis. It's not secondhand, it's like sitting there and asking your higher self, like, all right, why this went on, or why this happened, and hence before a lot of my DMT trips, and if you check out my psychedelic playlist on YouTube, you'll catch some of the videos where I spoke on, like, how I would prepare and, like, have questions ready before, like a little student, like, all right, I want to ask my inner source this, I want to ask my inner source that, you know what I'm saying, and getting those answers, and hence why I always had that as above so below analogy of, like, the bodysuit, and different organs, having a certain unique energy. But if those organs had an unhealthy ego, where the heart thinking is better than the stomach, or the stomach thinking is better than the kneecap, or the kneecap thinking is better than the shin, or the brain thinking is better than the arm, or the left brain thinking is better than the right brain, you're going to have all kind of imbalance, and it's going to be hectic within your body, and that's the whole aspect of us, playing the God energy, not being the God energy, and, of our universe, of our inner universe, and we create that balance, it all goes back to, the story again. Jesus is the Christ energy, and the Christ energy was in between the negative and the positive energies, like the Sushumna is in between the Ida and Pingala, the masculine and feminine energies, which the Ida is the feminine and the Pingala is the masculine, and that's Sanskrit terms. But the story of Jesus being in between, like where one guy was like, oh, if you say you the savior, then why don't you save us, on some negative shit? And then the other guy like, bro, let that man make it, bro. You ain't gotta give him a hard time, the positive voice. So everything is about us being like the mediator and bringing, justice to the inner realm. And right now, again, hence you're gonna see a lot of everything dealing with balance coming up right now. Just so far, Mercury is in Libra, and Venus is in Libra. Matter of fact, just to make sure there's not too much noise, my headphones on, so we don't get too much outside vibes. Alright. Yeah, it's all about that balance, and that's what brings justice into the body. Hence the balance of the mind, body, and soul, or body, mind, and soul, or soul, mind, and body, however you want to say it. But it's about balancing all hemispheres, all realms, all polarities being harmonized and balanced. Because hence why we go through certain things when our chakras are unbalanced, or when our left and right brain is unbalanced, when our higher nature and our lower nature imbalance, where we like, oh, let me run away from my sexual nature and my physical nature, and stay all in the extreme of the higher chakras. That throws you off balance. You're not having a whole experience. But that's what it's about. It's about being whole. Because if source, the no thing can potentially, is interconnected to all things and potentially be all things, then how would I expect to become, step into my godhood or step into, this higher realm if I'm not embracing the wholeness of my being, And we're going to get into the tricks of the trades of that, and even speaking on a little bit of my experience with that. But again, it's like parents not claiming their seeds, or creators neglecting their creations, because, again, and I made videos about this, like, I give a KKK person a hug, like, somebody who hate, and jokingly saying it in that sense, because if they don't want a hug, I can't give them a hug, but at the end of the day, it's like unconditional love, because unconditional love doesn't mean I support your actions, you know what I'm saying? That's like mama, mama may not agree with your actions, mama may not agree with you selling dope, mama may not agree with your killing, mama may not agree with your actions of lying, mama may not agree with you saying, you know what I'm saying, in every video. I have to put that in there. Your mama may not agree with you going to church, or not going to church, but she still love you, you know what I'm saying? And now some of y'all may say, oh no, like my mama, don't love me, and she do judge me. With that being said, of course, on a human level, some mothers have fell into that judgment, state of being. But the divine feminine in its true essence, it still shines through. And hence why, again, in most cases, your mom still love you. Again, it might not seem like it, or she may not smile all the time at you, because, again, she may dislike your actions. But she like, but that's my son, or that's my daughter. I love that crazy motherfucker, excuse my diction, but I love him regardless, you know what I'm saying? And that's the whole aspect, But, again, parents not claiming their seeds, all, when no matter what modality it is, because, again, where it's like, oh, them black people over there, or them white people over there, I don't, like all that judgment, has to be released in order for you to, ascend. Because, again, another aspect is you're holding on to energies, but as above, so below. Again, like if my organs beefing because they look different, then my whole body gonna be fucked up. Like, imagine if the heart was like, man, the fucking feet stink, so I ain't fucking sending no blood to it. Like, you know, the feet, I ain't dealing with the feet because they stink, so I ain't gonna send no blood, you know, holding that judgment, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's about unconditional love and no judgment. And it's also about being authentic. So authentically, you know, some of us not into the same things, you know, or, you know, don't do some of the same things. So of course we don't have to, like, unconditional love don't mean I have to forcefully be, you know, friends with everybody in that sense. You know, again, it's just like not having judgment. Like, you know, hey, I might not go and just try to be houses with this houses person, or I might not try to go, you know, live in this mansion with these people in this mansion, but I don't have no judgment towards their lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Like, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? Like, they living out their little, you know, realm of reality, you know what I'm saying? And getting back to a lot of things with people, you know, again, and we all done, in some way, form or fashion, done probably been into this energy. A lot of us dealing with it for us to see the light. So, like, you know, like thinking like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a fight, it's gonna be a battle. You know, the war in essence is just a war on the subconscious, and you know what it's really about is you making sure you stay balanced, harmonized, and unjudgmental. You know, and staying in your moment, staying authentic with all these energies trying to shift you away from that. You know what I'm saying? So in essence, that's the warfare, but it's not about no actual fight. And again, the energies are actually coming together, and they speak to this. You know, and I heard Bobby Hemmett spoke about, like, man, the gods already done came together and stuff like that. You know, and then on American Gods, you know, the last few issues, the comic book at least, you know, on American Gods, the whole aspect of, like, all the different gods, you know what I'm saying, coming through, preparing for a battle. You know, while some of them, like, low key know, like, bro, this ain't, we're not really about to fight. Like, this shit is a sham and it's a joke. Like, you know, somebody pushing this energy. And when we say somebody, again, we are creators of this realm. So how could I create this realm, create the parasites, create the hateful people, create the over-religious people, and then make judgments about them when I created? You know, it's like, again, like having, you know, parents not claiming to see, like, well, that ain't my kid. You know what I'm saying? That ain't my creation. I ain't create that. You know what I'm saying? And hence why we be so blocked up with dealing with certain situations, because, you know, we not claiming our seeds. You know, not claiming our creations. And also, one may ask, well, you know, like, things seem like it's tough and hard or this and that. Like, why? Well, I mean, that's what creates the learning process. Again, I always speak on, like, well, if you knew everything and just had everything, just bam, like you came down here like, I know all of everything, and you know, I got handed everything with ease, and it wouldn't be no growth from it. You know what I'm saying? And hence the terminology. You know, because again, we talk about fruit. Fruit is like, you know, a child, you know, from a tree. You know, just the tree, you know, almost like your family tree. Your tree has the fruit, you know what I'm saying? And the fruit could be spoiled, or the child could be spoiled if it's been given everything, you know, easily, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, seeds from a fruit have to grow without the assistance from a tree, you know, so, again, like, the tree give that fruit all that nurturing, you know, to even grow it into a fruit, you know what I'm saying, those 9 months, you know what I'm saying, like, mama took care of us those 9 months in that triple darkness, those 3 trimesters, you know, Ain soft and Ain soft you know, matter of fact, let's kind of peep that out right there. The top aspect, you know, those the triple darkness before you get to the crown on Keitha, and you know, in the different realms. As a matter of fact, this is also why, again, like, a lot of comics, you know, from Marvel to all this, like, you know, Marvel in the comic book realm, they had like the War of the Realms, where there's elf, and I did a video on that. If you go look it up on the YouTube channel, it's an elf-like being, and he trying to take over the 10 different realms. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the 10 different Sephiroths. Trying to be taken over. But again, it's about balance and not about trying to separate. But again, the water realms and the whole aspect of what it was for the last Marvel movie, the end game, and all the little battles and stuff like that. But it's about balancing the inner realms. So again, it's we're not just giving our children, our seeds, everything, because there's no growth in that. So again, that fruit gets, taken care of by the tree until it gets too big, And when you get big, it's like, oh, you gotta get out of here, And that, as above, so below, as within, so without. This correlate across the board, because again, after that, being in those 3 trimesters, it's like, all right, we get kind of big, so it's time for us to get out, because we can't grow into a full-grown ass human within our, within our mama's stomach, or within that, that portal, in essence. Got to come out of that portal, small. In the same way we come out small, we got to go into the next portal, small. Hence again, not holding on to heavy energies, and why your heart got to weigh heavier on the. Your heart got to be light as a feather. I repeat, your heart should be light as a feather. and again, it goes back to balance, and the scales of my yacht, and balancing that energy. And Libra energy deals with the air aspect, and that's what the sword deals with, air, and everything goes back to being in between the 2 pillars. It's like a balance, masculine and feminine, higher nature, lower nature, negative, positive, hot, cold, sun and moon. It all goes back to balance. Balancing again, Shiva, Shakti. It all goes back to balance, no matter how, whatever religion, and these religions take it and again and humanize it, and has made it political and created separation. And hence why politics, promote that social engineering of pick a side, like choose a side, like you can't be balanced, pick a side, like either your higher nature or your lower nature, either your masculine or your feminine, either your spirit or your bodysuit. Either your mind or your body, either your body or your soul. But you gotta pick one. Nah, you gotta balance all aspects. Again, to be a whole being, we gotta balance all these aspects and harmonize all these aspects. There's another aspect I'm gonna get into, because some might say it was shit. You can't show unconditional love to somebody who's trying to kill you and these and that. We're gonna get into that, But this is also about applying what we know about how our subconscious works to release these contracts of judgment. And again, it starts with inner judgment first and foremost. It releases trauma from the DNA, the chakras, and the auras through applied exercises. And hence why another thing too that's becoming of importance is application. It's cool that I may know all these different things, but how am I applying that to really actually harmonize and balance my inner universe? How am I applying that, to shift my consciousness, And to that, again, to the aspect I was about to get in, ain't no gangster, no white supremacist, or no dangerous person ever came up to me, when, as I've been on my growth and in this, this high vibrational state, of unconditional love and no judgment. Ain't nobody ever came and put their hands on me or try to harm me. I always bring up, I stayed in a neighborhood in San Bernardino where somebody was getting, not only the house that we was about to get, somebody had just got shot in, but, the neighborhood itself was like a gunslinging neighborhood, and people used to always like, hey, man, in which that's a whole nother aspect, trying to, the road to hell could be paved with good intentions, because people coming off as, oh, we looking out for you, but there's also that certain energy, that parasitic energy, trying to get me to be fear-mongered and lower my vibration so I could attract, being harmed, But again, it's like unconditional love, no judgment, and also being courageous and being without fear. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's a multitude of things that bring you into a high vibrational state, you know, and not having judgment, you know, which falls into unconditional love, meaning, you know, and no judgment, unconditional love is somewhat the same in the sense of like, you know, I don't love myself under conditions. Because again, it's like judging yourself. Like, all right, when I don't have money, you know, I look at myself as being bad, and so I don't love myself when I don't have money, because that's bad, you know. And again, stepping out of that bad or good, right or wrong, and the middle grounds in between the pillars, you know. Shout out to matter of fact, the 7 was just on the Black Magic channel, and shout out to Brother Rich and Kambada with the album cover with the 2 pillars and the little baby walking in between those pillars. You know what I'm saying? But again, ain't nobody ever came to harm. And like, I mean, even in my state of like, you know, which that was a little bit imbalanced in essence, like to be on the extreme, like I'm just trying to be positive all the time type of vibe. Because again, yes, we do want to be in a blissful state, you know, in that sense of it, but not, you know, trying to be again on the extreme of any polarity, you know. And you know, another situation, it 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 may seem hard to love someone who just shot your mama, you know what I'm saying, or did some type of harm, or you know, or that, you know, enslave you. And that goes back and forth, because a lot of you know, for lack of a better word, you know, say melanated people and those that have you know, less or little to no melanin, you know what I'm saying, like that slavery rolled in reverse sides, you know what I'm saying? Like at one time, melanated people had, you know, slaves treated people like slaves, and then on the reverse side, you know, then the non-melanated people treated melanated people like slaves, you know what I'm saying? So it's again for everybody to get into that space of realizing, you know, no matter how much harm or whatever has happened, you know, you got to realize, because at the end of the day, and this where, you know, again, the sauce of recognizing the knowledge, because again, people will spit this knowledge but then not really apply it, like, you know, like, oh, the laws of Mayat, and you know, and the Mayat laws say this, and you know, it's about your heart not weighing heavier than a feather and being childlike and this and that. But then within the life, and as I'm saying that, no judgment, you know, but people say these things and not really realizing, again, because I done been through that stage. So I cannot, how could I judge when I done had some type of, you know, aspect of not really understanding things fully and having to learn things for myself, you know what I'm saying? So why would I judge a reflection, you know, who may not be getting it or may not be applying it, you know, when I done went through that same energy as well, you know? But again, you may find it hard to love, you know, show love to the person who, you know, and again, that doesn't mean you agree with the person who, agree with the actions of the person, you know, that shot your mama. But again, it's like unconditional love, because if you have a hate and you hold that, you know, that resentment in your heart, you know, that's gonna prevent you from ascending. You know, your heart gonna be heavier than a feather, and you won't be able to, you know, to ascend out of this realm, because again, you got a heaviness. It goes back to you, and you got accountability to balance, harmonize, and have your inner universe whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's up to you. You know, and not having that resentment. You know. And again, there's entities that want separate. When we say, and again, when I'm speaking entities, parasites, this is all things we created. You know, it's again, well, that's why everything has to be explained in wholeness, and why, you know, I have multiple hour-long videos, 2-hour-long videos, and 3-hour-long videos, because, you know, to explain the fullness of this, you know, and not just tell you, hey, it's about the law of attraction, where all you got to do is talk about it and see it, and that's it. You know, it's like, no, they got hermetic principles, other hermetic principles that go into that, you know, so it's all deeper, you know. And hence why, you know, again, you saw me go through that growth of making sure that, as much as I may joke about religions and joke about the fake Jesus vibes, you know, there's no judgment, you know what I'm saying? Like, people going through their little realms in reality for their growth, you know. So I have to love the fullness of my being, because within my body, I gotta love from the foot to the top of my crown. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brethren used to have a little joking saying at work. When I was in Louisiana at my little old job, like, I love you like I love a bacteria. You know what I'm saying? I still love you. You know what I'm saying? Because even a bacteria or a parasite serves a purpose. You know what I'm saying? The pressure serves a purpose to make a diamond. You know what I'm saying? Without that pressure, you'd just be a lump of coal. You know, and you have that choice though, to stay a lump of coal or to stay in this realm as long as you want. And hence why, again, this realm is looked at like a prison. Because a lot of people keep staying in that realm of judgment, so they're not releasing themselves. So it feels like they're locked into something because they're still judging. You know what I'm saying? Because even, again, some people even judging this realm, like, oh man, fuck this realm, or it's like, bro, no judgment, like, unconditional love for the whole, for the fullness of our being. Entities, again, that want separation and can move through anybody and anything that has that separation vibration within their subconscious. I repeat, these entities that want separation can move through anything and anybody that has that separation vibration within their subconscious. And I look at my growth, where you watch me. Well, I've been speaking on these things, and I'm not saying that to say, oh, I've been speaking on this, because it's not about no gratification in that sense. You're just realizing, like, where I had it, I was aligned with this, but it became overwhelming. I allowed this energy to overwhelm me, as far as like that judgmental energy. Because here is, I'm in unconditional love. I'm in this state of unconditional love, and in this state of, wholeness and balance, and working on that. But I'm in a state, and literally and figuratively speaking, like in a state like Louisiana, where there's a lot of, judgment that has went down in that state. And just in general, to being in an environment where most of the external world, looks at things from the unhealthy separation. Because again, we do have, a healthy aspect of separation in order for me to have a unique individual experience and to express a certain unique energy. I have my own little bodysuit, you know what I'm saying? So it's separation just enough for that. But again, it's not to have that unhealthy ego where it's like something going against each other. So again, I allow my energy to be overwhelmed, because again, when you understand that the aspect of no judgment in a realm full of judgment, is like being jumped in the fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why I consider it to be, because like here it is where I'm like, standing in that energy, and it's like all these little judging vibes all around me, and it has nothing to do with, again, like the external realm. That's why I'm saying it like this. Like, I had to stay strong and maintain that that balance, maintain that harmony, maintain that wholeness, maintain that vibration of no judgment and unconditional love. I can't blame it on the external conditions, because I asked for this experience in the first place. And hence why, it becomes important for us to have like a certain fuel in our body suit, in our vehicle. Because when we have a certain fuel, whether you're breatharian or you eating certain fuels that bring more light into your body, but it's about having fuels that bring high vibrations. Because the higher you vibrating, the more difficult it is for a lower vibration to grab a hold to you. And I not so long ago did a video about kind of like the example of Infinite Waters, that brought up the 1,000 cut situation. But that's how entities, that energy comes at you. It's like it comes and try to get you to come down to its level through one person, and again, it moves through people who may have a little bit of that judgment, and hence again, when I stepped into like being overwhelmed by that energy, and I basically, like, after being, and again, not no real physical fight, just an analogy of it, but being in that little scrap and being jumped. But then after a while, my energy kind of went down. I allowed my energy to go down in some way, form, or fashion, and kind of like gave up, and then and then the next person, and the next thing they got me on the ground, and kind of, ain't fully stumped me out, but I'm like, breathing and never get, because I even look at it again. I constantly stayed in the place of realizing that this is what's really real, but my subconscious realm had kind of allowed for that judgment programming to slip in. So even though I had the awareness that judgment is not healthy, and that's where it get real at. Well, again, you can have the conscious awareness that judgment is not healthy, but you got to make sure your subconscious is programmed to be in alignment with that as well. And I got videos. Go check out my subconscious playlist on my YouTube channel to get little different aspects of how to work on the subconscious. So again, basically the fight is not really a fight, but it's maintaining again that balance, that non-judgment, maintaining your being in the now, maintaining that vibrational bliss, but even again how I spoke on not too long ago. I had a video about like feeling like, oh, these people need to be woke for me to be around them, or this and that. Like, there's always trying to look for judgment, and remember, we are Triple H, habitual healthy habits, and dealing with habitual nature, where if you've been in a constant habitual state of constantly judging yourself and then therefore judging others, then yeah, it's gonna come easy and feel like that's more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because again, growth is about expanding our comfort zone. I no longer wear a diaper because I grew. I expanded out of that comfort zone. Now, it could have been comfortable for me to just stay with a diaper on, or stay in my mom's womb, which I don't know if that would physically be able to happen, but you know what I'm saying? Like, or stay in my mom's house. And again, like, and that's an analogy too, like staying in your mom's house where you constantly growing and you learning your situations. You trying to bring that into, your mom's house, or AKA the womb, in that sense of it. But again, even in the arena of like judging people like, oh, they ain't woke, oh man, they ain't gonna never get it, they ain't shit, or this and that, you know what I'm saying? Or again, the judgment from like quote unquote race or ethnicities, the sexism judgment, ageism judgment, religious judgment. And again, politics promote that pick a side vibe to continue to have people in that, judging vibe. And I also caught the download too, to be aware that as a divine feminine energy is rising, for some of the divine feminines to be aware to not let that energy become toxic, and get to a place where you're judging the masculine like, oh, the masculine ain't shit, or the masculine, because they ain't, in essence, more like, like just like me, let me judge that vibe. And it's like, no, again, across the board, like, no judgment, again, because you could get in that vibe of belittling or judging the masculine due to the rise of the feminine energy that's coming up. But always remembering, mama loves us no matter what, and that's that true mama aspect, the big mama, the divine feminine. Because you may, and also again, would not have, no judgment again to my family and stuff like that, because you may be putting a space between, a space between you and some people who still like under the judgment programming. So like when you first start to grow, of course you're gonna like, again, like your actions is gonna reflect you taking yourself away from environments where people are constantly judging, you know what I'm saying? Because again, just like quitting alcohol, like if I'm not drinking no more, or I'm quitting drinking or slowing down on it, whatever the case may be, I'm gonna take myself out of that environment that promotes that a lot, you know what I'm saying? It becomes like, if you're not, again, like going cold turkey, you can use that help of pulling yourself away from the environment. Because if I'm stopped drinking, then I'm gonna stop going to the club all the time as well, where basically the environment of like that just really just oozes out with that, let's drink, let's drink, let's drink, let's drink, the music, let's drink, let's drink, let's drink, let's drink, let's drink. I gotta pull myself out of that environment, and that doesn't mean judgment. Again, that's just you doing what you gotta do to get in that alignment, because again, it's not judging them or neglecting them. You're just bringing yourself to a space where you could align more with that non-judgmental vibe and that unconditional love vibe, so you could really and truly, be that beacon of light for that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I love my family in Louisiana, from the blood bodysuit, the bodysuits that are blood related, into the bodysuits that are not blood related. Which I always jokingly say, though, I feel like everybody in the little city I'm from related in some way, form, or fashion. If you really, really went back into the shit, because again, just the way of slave plantations and stuff too, and just all the mixed breed and all that, Again, that's not to be judging. Again, love my family no matter what, no matter how much gumbo they eat, no matter how many Saints games they go to, and who that, and all that, no matter, how much they don't know about crystals, I don't judge them, and I love them unconditionally, because, their uniqueness is for a reason. They're at where they at for a reason. Like certain aspects of my body. Like, think about it. When I'm eating certain healthy foods, it's certain cells that are really, really absorbing all the vitality or the health aspect from what I'm consuming. Then there's some cells that it may take longer for it to reach. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like, soon as it touched down, it's like for one of the first places, other than it touching your mouth, is one of the first places it touch. But like, say for instance, the first organ it kind of go to in essence is the stomach. you know and some things do move through the blood, like as soon as it touches your esophagus and stuff like that. Again, just like the cells in the body, some cells may, feel that detoxing energy before other cells, because they're prepared. Like, those cells that could feel it first is been prepared to be in this state of being. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's why it goes through them first. But there's no judgment on, again, like, oh, I got my detoxing energy first, or I became high vibrational first. So it's no judgment. And again, what I was talking about, with making space between you and people, who may still be in the judgment programming, it's for the sake of reprogramming yourself, stepping back and doing inner work, so you can become that beacon of non-judgment. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, again, having that awareness. We could say I'm not judging, but at the same time, I'm just saying, like, oh, I ain't judging, but I'm just saying this and that or this. Is like, well, you could consciously know, again, that it's unhealthy to judge, but is your subconscious program in line with knowing that, it's all about no judgment? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole, gotta make sure the subconscious is in alignment with, not being judgmental. Again, and within myself, constantly working and reapplying this within my growth, making sure that it's instilled in my subconscious. Because again, I could say I consciously don't have something against non-melanated people, but my actions still reflect that subtly I have something against, non-melanated people. I'm subtly judging them, you know what I'm saying? So I got to go back within and be like, all right, what aspect, within do I need to work on? Because again, like with cutting cards, we could cut cards, but you cut a card and the card may still have a stronger root within you, where, you cut that card a little bit, but it still could regrow. And you're like, damn, how does energy come back? Because you didn't fully remove. And matter of fact, using a little poppy, you could use a little doll as a visualization as yourself. Use a little poppy doll to work on yourself. Like vision pulling the roots out of your, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine those judgmental roots being pulled out. Again, you won't be balanced, harmonized, and whole with judgment. Like at the end of the day, and again, a lot of people may argue for that, that, no, you gotta hate these kind of people, or you gotta judge these kind of people, or, you gotta look at, again, teach his own on your growth. Because now I'm getting back to the vibration of, since I know better, I'm gonna do better and say better. not to try to convince others of it, you know what I'm saying? But like again, like well, if somebody bring up, oh well, shit, I judge people, this and that. Hey, well look, not in my realm. I don't agree to that word magic, but to each his own. Because what's funny, like you could judge people, but I won't judge you judging people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's on you and your heart chakra and how you gonna, you know, try to make it out of this realm with a heavy heart. Like, you know, I love you unconditionally. You know. And again, I'm not one to debate or argue, but if any person wants to debate about like, oh, well, no, it's about judgment and it's about, you know, you gotta judge and again, that's why it goes back to the heart chakra again, because it's about discernment, and discernment is not being judgmental. You know, you have a certain level of discernment that lets you know, all right, to you know, deal with this being a certain type of way or deal with this being a certain type of way, but that doesn't mean judge. You know, again, an unconditional love doesn't mean like, oh, I'm mamsy pamsy. Like, no, again, it's being authentic, you know, because authentic is about being authentic to your true essence. And unconditional love doesn't mean, again, that I may agree with certain actions. You know, again, like mama may not agree with us selling dope, doing all this stuff, you know, whatever, but she still loves us, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it goes back to, you know, like the Christ consciousness, and hence why, you know, confusion get thrown onto the track when all these concepts get humanized. You know, where the Star of David is looked at as, oh, this is the star for the chosen people, and which, I mean, if you, it has some truth in it. Well, again, yeah, but it's not like the chosen people, like, oh, it's this faction or this race or this, you know, it's more sort of beings who understand that it's about balancing, harmonizing, and being holistic in your realm, you know, being non-judgmental, being fearless, being in your moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the beings who are the, you know, that if you want to, again, not say chosen in that sense, you know, but, you know, like when you get it, technically, again, like you are choosing yourself, or you know, stepping into that realm, you know, by stepping into these states of being, again, of balance and wholeness, you know, and that whole Christ consciousness vibe. But yeah, like and that's another thing to point out, like with the judgment vibes, or like if somebody wants to debate and argue, like, oh no, I mean, just the act of wanting to debate for judgment and hold on to judgment, and again, that's just like what a debate is. It's like politics. Hence why I'm not one of those people where, you know, you don't see me like try to, like, all right, let's debate this now, because again, it's not about trying to convince nobody of anything. It's a free will universe, you know, and no matter how much I debate, if you ever realize all those people that debate, have you ever seen a person debate back and forth, and then one person just like, I give up, I wholeheartedly agree with everything that you say? Like, nah, they just keep debating and debating, or I'm gonna just get more evidence to one up you, and I'm gonna get more evidence to one up you, you know, and it's just debate. And to each his own, to those who may debate, because again, they serve a purpose. Everything serves a purpose, you know, and I love all of me, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you got acid within your body. Like, as much as we talk about alkaline and, you know, and acidity and this and that, is about balancing the pH levels, you know. And again, the balance is like in the 7, you know what I'm saying, like 7, 8ish pH level. But you know what I'm saying, it's about balance, you know, at the end of the day, you know. But again, I'm jokingly say about, you know, debating, again, this ain't up for debate. I'm just saying it in the sense of, you know, like, I'm confident that, you know, when if people try to deny this, they're gonna find themselves back in the square one of like realizing, like, oh shit, you know, it is about a balance and harmonizing. Hence, again, you get what you put out. So if you constantly thinking it's about judging, you know, then and you feel like, oh, but look, you know, I constantly see this in my realm and this and that. Well, yeah, because you get what you subconsciously put out. Whatever's going on in your subconscious, you get more of, and we're habitual. So if you keep staying in that state habitually, then of course it's gonna seem like the norm to you. You know what I'm saying? And again, like the whole reincarnation process of the universe experiencing itself from, you know, from multiple perspectives. And I always bring up like the 9 lives, going through the 12 zodiac signs of the cat energy, you know what I'm saying, the lion energy, going through 9 lives, and each 12 zodiacs, and 9 times 12 is 108, you know what I'm saying, which 108 goes back into 9, but, you know, matter of fact, in 360 degrees, 360, 6 plus 3 is 9, you know what I'm saying, so it all goes back to 9, you know what I'm saying, when you look at it. But, you know, going through the elliptical, you know, the 360 degrees of knowledge, you get all those different perspectives, you know, through the elliptical, through the wheel, you go through all the zodiac signs. Each zodiac sign is 30 degrees, you know, and each has 10-degree little sections within it, you know, which are called deacons, D-E-C-A-N, you know. Matter of fact, I may cut this video short right here to expand into this next part. And since I'm bringing it up, that's what I'm going to do. But again, just finishing off with that aspect, you know, it's the universe experiencing itself. So think about it. If I'm experiencing myself, you know, again, it's about me being whole. How could I be a planet if I'm judging one aspect of the part of my being? Like, I'm a whole planet, and let's just say, like, you got the same construct of what, you know, Earth got, and, you know, even though what we call continents is man-made, you know, in that sense of it, but all serves a purpose, because, you know, if it's there, or if it was allowed to happen, it serves a purpose, because we created this realm. So we created the internet, we created technology, we created, you know, everything, you know, the trees, nature, we created hateful people, we created religions, we created all these different things, you know what I'm saying? And as contrast, in order for us to grow from, you know, again, the pressure to make a diamond out of us, you know. But again, like, having these different multiple perspectives and learning from these multiple from having these multiple perspectives and not being judgmental, you know, like, oh man, I'm a judge a hurricane, you know, because a hurricane, like, you know, like, from the perspective of being nature, you know, say for instance, if I'm, again, a human, you know, and judging like, oh man, hurricanes are this and that. Well, you know, hurricanes serve a purpose, or tornadoes serve a purpose, you know, quote unquote natural disasters, in essence, serve a purpose, you know what I'm saying? And again, we're never dying, you know, you transition out of your body, so nobody's actually dying as much as, you know, people may, oh man, Katrina, this and that, or this flood, this and that, or, you know, none of those people, you know, 9/11, this and that, like, just people transition. That was part of, you know, that quote unquote karmic energy, for so many words, or for lack of a better word, you know. Again, karma is nothing about no good or bad, right or wrong. It's cause and effect, you know. But, you know, having these different angles, and again, hence why degrees, like where they give you 1 degree, you know, when you graduate from the school, you know, after the 12 grades, you know, the 12 disciplines or the 12 disciples, you know what I'm saying? Well, that Christ energy, again, is balancing all those realms, you know. Because, again, and you see that, like, across from each other with the North Node, South Node vibes, you know, in astrology. You know, Pisces is across from Virgo, and they are 2 different, you know, energies. Pisces all dreamy, Virgo like, shit, you better ground yourself and be detailed. You know what I'm saying? Capricorn is about, you know, more, a little more colder, a little more like, gotta make sure I'm climbing up the mountain type of vibe, while Cancer, like, oh no, I'm warmer and I'm about love, you know what I'm saying? Motherly love, to be exact, you know, like those poles, you know what I'm saying? Now Scorpio and Taurus, you know, Scorpio about diving deep into those waters, you know, water signs, so it may get a little dreamy in essence, you know what I'm saying? And the Taurus energy, like, nah, I'm grounded and I'm fully grounded, you know what I'm saying? Like, broad shoulders, grounded, you know? And again, for me, with Aries, Libra, you know, and again, hence the Libra aspect, you know? Again, Libra, but, you know, Aries, like, head first, you know, gotta do this, spontaneous, running into things, you know, fiery, you know, active, you know, while Libra is like, oh no, I'm gonna have a balanced approach. You know, not so much, not as analytical as Virgo, but kind of like, all right, we're gonna kind of peep this out before I step into it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mind working with others, you know what I'm saying? But Aries, like, head first, again, going through all those different energies and balancing them out. You know what I'm saying? So you go through all those different perspectives to learn, because maybe you, say for instance, your first life was as an Aries, because again, Aries, the Lamb of God who take away the sins of the world, like head first, you know what I'm saying? That first energy coming down into, Aries, the Lamb, or the Ram energy, you know? And then you only see things like, from a perspective, oh man, it's all about me, and what I think, and not saying it's, again, not good or bad, right or wrong, it's just part of that energy. But then you come into a Libra aspect to learn, like, all right, well, I see, I could see this unique space. And I done brought up the aspect again, like how the flower of life is created, from that one circle, that one space, where that one dot of consciousness standing in that space, and then, has awareness around it, and then moves to another space. And matter of fact, do I have example somewhere? Somewhat right here. I know it's not an exact example, so I'm gonna just fall back on that. Let's see, make sure. But again, you go from that one space to another, and let me pull out my pen just in case I got a doodle while I'm, But again, like that one space. You're in that one space, and then you expand your consciousness from there, and then after expanding, it's like, all right, I could go to the furthest realms of that space and expand from there. No coincidence that you create a portal, a vesica Pisces, or almost like a yoni, and also two breasts. And I spoke to that, matter of fact, because I got that in my other little tablet, like two nipples, you know. But now I done shift to right here, and now I'm like, all right, I got a different perspective. And now I could look back at this old space I was in, again, without judgment, but just looking and seeing, like, all right, that's how I was in that space, And you gain perspective, and then you could also move again to the furthest space within that. Try to do this. It's not that accurate in the sense of it, but move to a third space and have that perspective, and now you gain the knowledge from looking back at this perspective and that perspective. And we say looking back in reference to the now, because again, now you in this space, you know what I'm saying? But you can reflect in relevance to your moment on these past spaces that you were in without judgment. Like, all right, this is you when you were a child, and then you started doing drugs and started doing that, and then you start cleaning yourself up, and then you start having children. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you go through these different perspectives within your own realm of reality, because the macrocosm, the bigger aspect of the universe, is in the microcosm. You know what I'm saying? So the big story is within the smaller stories are your everyday life, even waking up and going to sleep in the morning, dealing with the sun and the moon every day, you know what I'm saying? Like the bigger balance is in the smaller balance, or the smaller aspects. And it's like in your body, like, you got your body with the zodiac signs that run through it, you know what I'm saying? Different organs and all this. And then within your palm, within the parts of the whole, it has the whole within it, because you could do reflexology with all the body parts within your hand and within your feet, or within your face, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all interconnected. But I'm gonna stop this video, and we're gonna move to the next aspect. So peace, happy now. Now the vibrate, of course. The moment is the only thing that exists. You know what I'm saying? Because again, with fear, false evidence appearing real, like our thoughts, like, oh man, what about this tomorrow? Or, I still haven't healed this in the past. Like right now, and you could heal your past and create your future right now. You know what I'm saying? But now's the vibrate.